with sound. I do apologize, but you know what though? Just because something doesn't go my way doesn't mean I'm giving up. That's not the way I work. Let me go and get Facebook here, and I'll repeat that here for them so they can understand what this is. All right. So Facebook and YouTube, thank you for coming again. I appreciate it. I know the first one didn't have sound, but it's okay. We're gonna make it through. I don't just give up because something doesn't go my way. I don't just quit because something isn't what I need it to be. Because that's almost as if what I've learned is that when you start having a situation where it's not going your way and you're fighting it and this, that, and the other, and you don't want to do it, you slowly move away from what you want to or don't want to do, what you're actually doing is that's your body's resistance to stay the same, but that's a whole nother video and a whole nother day. Today is talking about fertile ground, so we're going to go right into this, and we're going to do this again because I'm not scared to do this, and I'm ready, and I hope you are too. So let's talk about fertile ground. Fertile ground, here we go, boom. So let's go ahead and fill this. We're gonna play a game called Fill in the Blanks, right? So here we go. If you have corn, if you plant corn, you will receive what? Chickens. No, you're gonna get corn, right? All right, let's keep playing. If you plant wheat, you're gonna get what? Wheat. If you plant carrots, you're gonna receive carrots, right? So what happens if you plant nothing? Fill in the blank. How many of you guys said nothing? How many said if you plant nothing, you'll get nothing? How many of you guys said that? I did. When I first heard this, I said it. This is actually coming from the mentor I received and the coaching and the people that were in front of the room just talking to us this weekend. This is what I got from him. I said nothing. He said, what do you receive? He said, if you plant corn, you get corn. If you plant wheat, you get wheat. If you plant nothing, you get, and my answer was nothing. He said, wrong. He said, if you plant nothing, you're going to get weeds. Boom. Mic drop, right? So I want you to think about this. Like, for real though, if you got, your mind is a fertile ground, right? You got fertile land here, and it's valuable as all get out, and the price on it is imaginable. You can't even imagine and fathom how much power this has, and even how much magical power is in this fertile land right here. I learned a lot about my mind this weekend. So I want you to think about this. If you're not planting anything and you got some open land, and you've all seen it, you drive by open land, somehow there's always still something growing there, right? You didn't plant it, but there's always something growing there. The reason is there's birds that fly by and drop seeds. There's wind that blows by, dandelions and other seeds that are gonna land on your property, on your fertile ground. So it doesn't really matter what you plant. So you've gotta make sure that at the end of the day, you're planting something and willing to go out there and take the weeds out of your garden, because otherwise you will literally have weeds in your garden, because the world is programming you. Watch TV, listen to the radio, talk to other people. And we'll talk about other people here in a second. Your job is programming you. If you're not utilizing this to create yourself, now don't understand, I'm not saying that jobs are bad, okay? You get to make that decision on your own. But your job is programming you to complete a task for them. That's what they're doing. They're utilizing you to complete a task. So there's one thing, let's go to point number one. Let's talk about, them using you. He told me something so profound, and it was to the class, and I'll say he told me because I'm taking ownership of this information, because I'm gonna put it together in my life. And what he said was this. He said, if you are not utilizing your mind, your grasp, then somebody else will. If you're not going to utilize your mind, somebody else will take advantage of it and use it as their piece. Because the thing is, there's too many unmined minds out here. It's more valuable real estate than what we actually have on the market. You can get people to do what you want to do and sit back and collect checks. That's what a lot of rich people do, right? Because they're utilizing the mind that is not being used. It's more valuable than the money they're going to pay you, because this will make your body do what it needs to do to produce the money that they need for the company. That's big, right? So make sure that you're putting something in here and you're planting something in your garden, in your fertile soil, your fertile ground, to make something grow, because otherwise somebody else will literally take your land. Now here's the other piece. You've got land right here, right? Now this land right here is barren, okay? It's nothing on it, you're not planting anything, but you got another garden next to it of your friend, your co-worker, your boss, or whatever, and you've got these other plots right next to you, right? And they've planted nothing on their ground, and they've been around a lot longer, and they've gotten all these random seeds and stuff, so they've got just a mess of random grass and seeds just growing out of the ground. If you don't take the time to keep your garden managed, your fertile ground managed, and you don't take the time to actually block off your fertile ground, you're gonna have runoff from the water because you have nothing, and they're just going to run right through and it's going to run down to yours, which is going to bring seeds. You're going to get all the nasty weeds and stuff from the garden of somebody else coming to your garden and planting itself in your garden because you're not utilizing it. So be careful who your fertile ground is next to, and make sure that when you got your fertile ground next to somebody, that they got something planted. Otherwise, you're going to get what they get. And it's just going to be patches of things you got to grow up, and then you're going to have to manage your garden. You have to pull weeds. But if you're willing to plant something in your mind, in your fertile ground, if you're willing to plant and you're willing to go out there and pull the weeds, nobody can stop you. And that's what I did this weekend. I was able to go through my garden that was not being kept very well and pull out weeds. Boom, 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 weeds. All the things that I knew to be false. All the things I didn't know I knew to be false. You know, the unconscious conscious, the conscious conscious, all that stuff. Whole different ballgame. But I had to tend my own garden, and you will have to also. So take the time to plant something in your garden that's going to help you in the long run. Make sure somebody else is not utilizing your land. Make sure the person next to you, that their land is kept, because otherwise you're going to get the same land they get. And that way, when your land comes to fruition and everything grows up, you're actually getting what you planted and not what you didn't plant. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys got something from this. I hope you ladies got something from this. And remember, I believe and love in each and every one of you. Now go out there and plant something in your garden that'll take away, because here's the last piece I wanted to say, and I forgot, it was in the other video, wasn't in this one, is that the media is planting your garden. I told you that, the media is planting in your garden. The reason that they don't want you to meditate and to kind of take care of your garden is because if you do that, they can't plant anything there. The media would much rather for you to medicate than to meditate. Because medicate means that you're not really lucid, you're not taking care of your garden, you're just taking care of the symptoms. You're not really planting. But if you meditate your garden, you're going out there with a rake and the leaves. You're getting them up. You're going out there, you're tilling soil. You're putting in the work in your garden that's necessary. And as you put in more work, you realize how much more value your land has. And so you just got to put your work in. Make sure that your work is worth what you're going to put in it. Because you and your garden will feed your family. And that's a whole different ballgame. The feeding of the family, and I don't mean that, the food, but you got to understand that your children don't have any other land further away and any other friends to really put their land next to. So they're going to plant their little gardens next to yours. And I just told you what happens whenever your neighbor's garden has weeds in it. What do you think is going to happen to your children's gardens? So if you want a reason to do something better for yourself, if you want a reason to get past where you are, if you want a reason to step up, step out, and step forward, then think about the gardens that are next to you. That's what you think about. And that's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate and I love you, and I thank you for everything you guys are doing here. I really do. Remember, I believe and love you. I've already said that. And plant something in your garden, because the world needs more crops. That's all I have. Have a blessed day, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.